thought I've always had about family offices that never seems to get answered is like, why does this exist? Right? What is the core philosophical purpose for this family office other than someone made an absolute shit ton of money and now everyone seems to want to hoard it like a dragon? Like they're just hoarding their gold like dragons. And it's like, why are you? I mean, I get the family earned the money. And so for some reason, in the way we see the world as Americans, the family deserves to continue having the money. Why is that fourth generation person necessarily the best person to have that money? Like, why wouldn't it be better if that first generation's person just spent lavishly and circulated the money? Why should we assume the fourth generation person should work at the family office doing private equity deals? Is that a better use of the capital? I don't know. I'm certainly underqualified to answer that, but I often sit there and I go, what is this for? Like, other than, and they all say the same thing. Every family office, when it gets to multiple generations, says the same thing. It's not our money. We're just stewards. We're just stewards. What are you stewarding it to? Where is it going? What is it for? Like, and I'm sure any of my family office clients are gonna be really pissed at me for saying this, but to me, it's like I fundamentally don't understand when people say my goal is to make generational wealth. I want to, like, you and I both have friends who have that objective. They want to make generational wealth, that their kids can work in their family office. And I'm like, what a great way to steal autonomy from your kids. I get that you want to set up your family, and maybe it's like this late stage capitalism. Let's get as much blubber off this bitch before it all explodes type mentality. But I just sit there and I'm like, I don't know why we sort of accept that a family, someone who 100 years ago sold a business and made a shit ton of money, like why the fourth generation has any insight into how this money should be utilized.
Well, luckily in America,
that's my rant of the day.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll be fired by all my family office clients now.
No, I can't wait to piggyback on it. As luckily in America, the third generation usually blows it. It's that trope. You can't really, because it's like it's a weird thing. Like you're saying, it's just like hanging on to money. And I remember, looking at it over the past, is like people get more and more conservative, and then the money dwindles and dwindles as you add more and more dependents onto that list as you get into the third and fourth generation. Then infighting, they'll break it up anyway. And then, as we both know, it's hubris from the initial founder, right? It's like writing a memoir or creating a family office is like, I want my family to, manage this wealth into perpetuity. And it's like, you're basically saying you want your essence or ego to go on for your future generations to come. My favorite quotes, I think it's like maybe, no, I don't think it's Seinfeld, but it was fly first class because your grandkids definitely will. And so like how it just gets burned through over time. And one thing when you're talking to family office was that first generation decision maker that took all the risks. But like you said, you start getting third, fourth, fifth generation, or just the people that their job is around there and they're not even related to the family. You get into some really weird spaces sometimes about how that money's being managed.
The people who work at a family office, to me, it's like working at another investment firm. I'm not sure that's as big a deal to me. To me, it's always like, at least with most of investment firms, there's a defined objective. We got the help coming back in. There's a defined objective as to what that investment firm's trying to achieve, right? And we have a sort of a split up financialized system where you have asset managers who are very explicitly trying to manage money for a reason, advisors who are trying to help clients through retirement. But when you get to a point of escape velocity with having so much capital that you're not even going to scratch the surface with your spending, and it's going to be multi-generational capital, I just think there's an interesting question of like, what's the why, right? To me, that's not to say there can't be whys. Like there are people who would say, I want all of my money to be used for educational gifts, and I want it to last as long as possible, giving away at least this much per year, And great, like there's a core why as to why that money's being used. But I often find like most family offices don't actually have a core why. It's just like, we all got really lucky. We won the sperm lottery and no one wants to mess this up.
Which is kind of awesome. At the same time, it's like, you don't like using the word entrepreneur for what you do. You say you're like a biz owner or whatever, but like, I'm curious to like how you deal with the dichotomy of like, most of the time I hate like the rentier class, right? That's just sitting there clipping that coupon that somebody took the risk for in previous generations. What is it like? You're the quote that David Senra loves from Game of Thrones, like somebody in your past history was a cutthroat, so stop acting so genteel, and or maybe you become much more like pusillanimous or lily livered, over those generations, and you're like a veal chop. But I can't remember generally. Oh, where I was going, the rentier class is like, so as an entrepreneur, I love to build businesses, love to do stuff. But at the same time, if I'm having a bad day and I'm sick and tired, I'd love to be part of the rentier class. So I spend half my day just going, I'm never going to be part of the rentier class. Screw those people. And then the other half of my day going, man, mailbox money would be pretty awesome. Speaking of monetizing this podcast, that's our monetization heuristic. Like, you just have to subscribe to this podcast. We're out here, Corey's driving through the night trying to make it to the show. We need to afford some, paint for his walls because they're hideous. These are the things we're working on to improve the show. But all we ask from you, our pirate pinky promise, is for you to subscribe to the show.